48, 49, 50. Walking up some steps during a break from work is one way to stay fit in the new year, and experts say new technologies like this are helping people keep track of their New Year's resolutions. And they're off. Faster than you can say Ferrari, handmade cars flew down the track during the 2015 Pinewood Derby Championships at Miller Motor Cars in Greenwich. The land that could be gone is right here at 2 Nearwater Road in Rowayton, and nearly 150 residents came out to Wednesday's meeting of the 6th Taxing District to ask for the commissioner's help in preserving the land. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Here in Greenwich, the fire department is doing their part to raise awareness, proudly wearing pink. I'm Kwegyirba Croffie here with the second installment of our Sentinel Goes to Work series. I'm spending the day with Greenwich Emergency Medical Services, or GEMS, to see just what it takes. Let's get to work. So, what are you going to be for Halloween? I'm thinking Cleopatra. What do you think? Reporting for the Greenwich Sentinel, I'm Kwegyirba Croffie. In May of this year, Governor Dana Malloy signed a law that imposes new standards on schools for the prevention and treatment of concussions. With many fall sports underway, local schools are working through their first full season under the new law.
These days, they're taking it much more serious, and they should. They should have years ago, but they didn't.
Joe Manaferi has been the athletic director at Brian McMahon High School for 18 years.
If there's a head injury, we will notify the parents. The head trainer will document the injury. He or she, it's a she this year, will contact the nurse through an email, back and forth. So then the school's aware that the young man or young girl had a concussion. For him or her to come back to participate in athletics, they need a doctor's note. And usually we want to see 10 days out following the injury. And then once the individual comes back athletically, we put him or her through a set of drills and exercises.
So what exactly is a concussion?
Concussion is an injury to the brain, and an injury to a brain can be all different types of severity. It can be something very mild to something that we see with war injuries that lead to traumatic brain injury. The challenge is that there's no test that really tells us the true severity of a concussion.
And Dr. Mark says, when in doubt, sit them out.
If you see a student athlete who you think has had a concussion, has had some sort of ding to their head, don't second guess. They're out of the game. And by state law now, they're not permitted to go back to athletic participation till they have been cleared by an appropriately trained healthcare provider.
After her son suffered a number of concussions in 2008, Catherine Snedeker began to research concussions in youth sports. Since then, she's been an advocate on educating parents and schools about concussion care and prevention.
And through those 5 years, I learned different things, basically what not to do. The first concussion, we pulled him out for 3.5 months. He stayed home, and it was really tough on him academically, socially.
Snedeker created the Concussion Conference to train school nurses and staff in current best practices to help students heal faster.
To explain how this transition from being at home in bed and resting for the first day or two to being back healthy, back on the field. And this progression, it may take 3 weeks in 80% of the kids, it may take 2 months, it may take 6 months. Every concussion is different.
We don't want to rush back to play. You don't want to rush. These kids are young. Their whole life is in front of them. And you don't want to have a situation where he or she down the road is going to have health issues because of injury they had in high school.
The Concussion Conference will take place on Wednesday, September 24th at the Quinnipiac University School of Medicine. In Norwalk, I'm Kwegyirba Croffie for It's Relevant News. Around 8:30 Tuesday morning, an underground explosion erupted, shattering glass and sent manhole covers flying.
The explosion was like a bomb went off.
That explosion caused Muro's New York Bakery and surrounding businesses to lose power.
It was underneath actually an SUV that was parked over it. The manhole came up, hit the SUV. The concussion blew some patrons that were inside the New York Bakery across the floor. The glass actually shattered and just dropped straight to the ground, which was a plus. It didn't really shoot so much, and some glass did get into the bakery, but not as much.
A couple guys were knocked down off the tables on the floor. Everybody scrambled. Glass was flying all over the place, and the car outside jumped off the ground about 4 feet.
According to the Norwalk Police Department, there were 2 minor injuries that were evaluated by EMS personnel at the scene, but declined medical transport to the hospital.
Usually we have tables out here every morning for the rowing club, which they were here, but they were inside because we didn't put the tables out because of the weather. And it's exactly where everything happened, and it could have been really disastrous.
The explosion is believed to be electrical in nature.
They're replacing one of the lines that they felt they had an issue with the electrical line, the electrical service that's under the road. They are probably within a half hour or so going to try and re-energize the power to ensure that everything's okay. Then the Yankee Gas Company will go down and actually monitor the electrical vaults to ensure that there's no more, or if there was any gas present inside the vault.
The Norwalk Fire Department hopes that Main Street will be cleared around 1 p.m. In Norwalk, I'm Kwegyirba Croffie for It's Relevant News. While New York Fashion Week is winding down in the city, the hottest fall fashions made their way down the runway here on Greenwich Avenue on Wednesday night.
Fashion on Avenue is a great way to really participate in Fashion Week here in Greenwich, because we know how hard it is to even to get into one of those big shows. But we have the best of everything here in Greenwich on the Avenue, so here we're showcasing it to our community. The 5th annual Greenwich Fashion on the Avenue turned Greenwich Avenue into a high fashion catwalk where members of the community were the stars of the show.
Since it's almost fall, I think it's in like 8 days. I think it's the first day of fall, so I think it's a perfect way to just start off the fall season, getting everyone ready.
I think it's great. I think it's a great way to showcase local vendors around here without like having to get into the city and compete with all the craziness there. It's awesome. Like, I always try to support local businesses here.
Models strut their stuff down the runway in comfy casual styles to clothes fit for a night out on the town. There were even some fashions for our furry friends.
I always love fall fashions. There's just something about it and exciting about it after the summer. Once it starts to get a little cool, you pull out the boots, you're ready to wear your fall clothing.
Members of the Greenwich EMT, police, and fire departments also had some fun on the runway, wearing shirts designed by local designer Lauren DiNardo.
We also opened it up to designers that may not have a shop on the Avenue, but are local designers trying to get their businesses started. So this is also an opportunity to showcase up-and-coming designers. So we have some of them participating this year as well.
Reporting for the Greenwich Sentinel, I'm Kwegyirba Croffie. By now, you've probably seen thousands of videos of the Ice Bucket Challenge, raising awareness and funds for an incurable disease.
Here we are in August of 2014, and an Ice Bucket Challenge comes out of nowhere, and it really points a finger at ALS as a disease that everyone should be aware of.
For the past few weeks, everyone from your friends to celebrities and politicians have taken the Ice Bucket Challenge, which has taken the internet by storm. But what is ALS? ALS stands for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Many people know it as Lou Gehrig's disease, and between 250 and 300 Connecticut residents are affected with it.
ALS is a neuromuscular degenerative disease that is always fatal, for which there's no cure and no treatment. Essentially what happens is the brain, as you know, tries to send signals to muscles, and that's what makes us move around, breathe, talk, and everything else that we do. Unfortunately, with ALS patients, the signal doesn't get to the muscles, and gradually, sometimes very rapidly, the muscles atrophy or die.
Doctors are still trying to figure out how it starts and why.
It's typically folks who are 55 years or older, but we see plenty of cases of folks who are in their 20s and 30s. We know that men are 20% more likely to get ALS than women are. And we know that of the 30,000 people currently in our database, at any given time, there are about 30,000 Americans who have ALS. 93% are Caucasian. And we know that military veterans are twice as likely as other people. But we don't know why.
And since the challenge videos have spread on social media platforms, there have been an increase in donations.
If I were to compare, say, a 3-week period from 2013, August of 2013, we saw 100 donors and about $12,000, $13,000. In that same 13-day period, 15-day period, we have seen 2,000 donors and $110,000, $115,000 because of the Ice Bucket Challenge.
According to the National Association, the challenge broke an all-time daily donation record on Tuesday, raising $8.6 million. Between July 29th and August 20th, over $31 million has been raised in donations, and that number will likely continue to grow.
For us to have the spotlight for a little while is having leaps and bounds on its impact on our patients. We're constantly hearing from them, this is great, I can't believe this is happening for us, and it's giving them hope.
I've been nominated to take the challenge, and in turn, I nominate the Norwalk Police Department, the Norwalk Fire Department, Greenwich Selectman Drew Marzullo, and all my It's Relevant co-workers. You have 24 hours to complete the Ice Bucket Challenge. For more information about ALS and how you can donate, visit www.alsa.org. In Norwalk, I'm Kwegyirba Croffie for It's Relevant News.